Hi, I'm Jesse Wilkins with South Dakota DE&R, and in this video I'm going to show you how to collect a replicate sample from a stream. And you can see I've got my nitrile gloves on. I have my 2 C bottles. These are the 250 milliliter bottles, and we're gonna fill them both up at the exact same time. And the idea here is to create a paired sample set so that the results can be compared to make sure that us field workers are doing everything correctly, and also the people in the lab. So to do the C bottles, we take both lids off. And I'm just going to set these lids on shore here in a place that I think is relatively clean. Make sure not to touch the inside of the lid or the bottle. And then normally I'd go out there more in the middle of the stream, but I'm just going to show you this right here. Take both bottles at the same time, tip them upside down, put them into the water about a half a foot, invert them and lift them up. If there's a little extra, splash out about 5 milliliters. Then we're going to put our lids on. And you'll notice I didn't rinse those bottles. We do not rinse our C bottle because sometimes there's a preservative in it, sodium thiosulfate. And that neutralizes the chlorine from wastewater treatment facilities. Now we're going to do our A and B bottle sets. These are the 1 liter Nalgene's. Normally we triple rinse these. I'm just going to do it once just to show you. Put some water in it, cap it, shake it, dump it out. Do that 2 more times. Then you don't have to fill these as the exact same mold. Just do 1 at a time. Filling them up to the shoulder. Cap them. Same thing, you triple rinse this one too normally. I'm just going to do it once. A little more. There we go. So that's our A bottles. Now we'll do our B bottles. It's the exact same thing. We do our rinse, do that 2 more times, and then fill your bottle. We rinse these sample bottles because they don't have any preservative in them before the sample is collected. But when we're done with these B bottles here, we'll take them up to the pickup and add sulfuric acid to preserve them. So normally you'd rinse that twice more. And fill it up to the shoulder. Now we'll take these up to the pickup and label them and fill out our data sheets. So now we've got a regular sample and a replicate sample up at the pickup, and we're going to preserve and process and label these bottles. I'm not going to go through the labeling procedure too closely, other than to tell you it's very important on your replicate samples that you write replicate somewhere on the sample bottle label. Write it large so that the health lab folks can see it. As for your regular samples, your A bottle and your C bottle, those can go right into the cooler once they're labeled. Those are ready to go. That's from your regular grab sample. We'll still need to preserve our B bottle from our regular grab sample. As far as our replicate samples went, our C bottle is labeled with our date, time, initials, and we wrote replicate on the label, so that's complete. Same thing for our A bottle. We've written the date, time, and replicate on the sample bottle, so that's also complete. Now we're left with our 2 B bottles from our regular sample and our replicate sample. So we're just going to preserve those as we would regular samples, and because it's a replicate, you just do it exactly like you would a normal sample. So we start out with a clean pipette, and we just drop 2 milliliters into each of the B bottles. Again, dispose of your pipette in a safe place so that nobody gets an acid burn. Cap your acid bottle as soon as possible. Set it out of the way. Cap your sample bottles. Mix them so the acid is distributed throughout the water in the bottle. And these were labeled. The date, time, our initials, and replicate is written in large letters on the label. So those 2 sample bottles are done. Now there's only one last thing to remember for a replicate sample. We fill out our data sheet for our regular sample the same as we would for any other regular sample. There's one special step on our replicate sample, and that's up here near the top, is to check the box next to replicate, so that the lab knows that this data sheet is associated with the replicate sample. If you have multimeter measurements from your regular sample, you can also put these on the data sheets. But the most important thing is to check the replicate box. And another important piece of information is to write the same time on your replicate and your regular sample. They should have the exact same time, not a minute difference, not 15 minutes different. Just put the exact same time. That way they're tagged with the same time in our database. And that is all for collecting a replicate sample from a stream site. Thank you for watching. I'm Jesse Wilkins with South Dakota DE&R.